Oh, here we go. I'm late for an important date. And I'm going to I'm going to talk about a really tricky topic. This is a huge one. And as it happens, I haven't scheduled this. So for anybody who does actually show up to watch, that's great, I guess. But I'm dealing with this because a subscriber asked me a question, and I thought I would actually answer it. So if you're rewatching this for the rewatching it, basically just look down in the description. You'll find the start time. I will put the start time down there. For anybody who has watched my live streams before, I have literally sort of just thrown this all together as quickly as I possibly can, and I'm going to try to explain the title of this video as best I can as well, certainly in terms of myself. You can leave your comments, ask questions if you like, but I'm going to just talk first, and then I'm going to stop talking, and if anybody has anything to say, then I will respond to that at the end. And let's give this a go, shall we? Ah dear, one of those things. I'm really nervous about talking about this topic. Okay, here we go. Let's make this happen. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. And really what I want to talk about is one of the biggest issues that Dungeon Masters can often have when running the game. And that is, as the title sort of suggests, I've said Dungeon Masters fudging dice rolls are Jello. Now, what the heck do I mean? And am I being offensive and rude in some way? Actually, no, I'm not really trying to be rude or offensive in any way whatsoever. What we're talking about is it all right for a dungeon master to change the rolls because they didn't quite work out the way they had hoped? Is that cheating on their part? And I won't dispute that changing the rolls and the values is cheating. I totally understand that. It's cheating. Yes, it is. But why are they doing that? I certainly know I have done it. I won't say that I haven't. I have absolutely fudged dice rolls in the past. And I've done it many, many times, and I had no qualms about it. So let's have a talk about this fudging of dice rolls and mucking with game mechanics for whatever reason it is. Okay, so is it all right to fudge dice rolls for monsters and the player's characters and other game mechanics in some way? Is it all right to do that? Or are we venturing into a location that we should not be entering into? Here's the quick answer as far as I can tell. I have absolutely no idea if it's all right to fudge dice rolls for monsters or players' characters whatsoever. I have no idea if there is a universal law or maxim that says you should do it this way and not that way. I am guessing though that there is actually no correct answer to the question. I'm going to make it really clear right now for anybody who ever wants to ask me this question again, and that is, I used to fudge my dice rolls when monsters weren't doing the things I wanted them to do. When they weren't performing, I made sure I fudged those dice rolls. And I absolutely, every chance I got, absolutely every single time, there was a chance that a character might die and muck with my adventure or the way it was supposed to unfold, or I thought I might upset my players. And then of course the fear is that they won't come back to your table again, or they won't like you, or they won't play at your table, or you might mess with your friendships because their character died in a game. I absolutely changed dice rolls and did things with my monsters and their damage output and whether they would hit or not based on the fear that I would kill the players' characters in the game. And I did that quite a lot because that's really all I knew, and I didn't know how else to deal with it at the time. If a monster didn't perform due to my poor dice rolling, or even if I was using poor tactics, now I know I've done tactic videos, so don't think that I haven't used poor tactics. Absolutely have used poor tactics. I would fudge dice rolls. If a climactic battle that is supposed to be the end boss fight just started to fizzle, and because the monster was getting absolutely thrashed, I would fudge the dice rolls, and in some cases I would add hit points to the monster just so that I could keep it going. Otherwise it just seemed like I spent all that time and it's not exciting anymore. If the players were rolling really high, they were rolling like dice gods, and I as the dungeon master couldn't seem to roll more than a 2, then I would fudge my dice rolls. Here's the problem with all of this, and I know it sounds a little odd, but there's a reason why dungeon masters fudge their dice rolls, and there's a reason why I fudged my dice rolls. I'm going to explain it in terms of myself rather than other people, and I'm not saying it's the right way or it's the wrong way. I'm just saying what was going on for me, and then you can decide from there what that means to you. What I realized about my fudging of dice rolls or anything else with regard to the mechanics of the game is that I was actually afraid. I was really afraid of what would happen. Fear was driving my dice fudging. And what happened, somewhere along there, I actually managed to make a change. And I stopped fudging my dice rolls. And when I stopped caring about what I would roll in the dice, that's actually when I found a whole lot of solutions for myself. Whether they are solutions for you is not necessarily, I mean, these may be for you, they may not, okay? Here's what I found. When I stopped caring, that made all the difference. And this is what I realized when I started to sort of think a little bit differently about it. First off, when it came to monsters, I don't care if my monsters die, because there's always more monsters that are going to come along that the players' characters are going to get to fight. And even if things didn't turn out the way I had hoped the first time round, I'm sure I can do a better job the next time. So I don't worry about my monsters dying. I couldn't give a rat's ass what happens to them. The next part, which I have to say is really hard to fathom sometimes because we have been educated to think a particular way. I don't care if I kill the players' characters. I don't care anymore. I have no qualms about it. If it happens, it happens. I know this sounds terrible. I know it sounds terrible. But what I realized is I don't care that the players' characters will get killed in the game, because it is a game, because I don't expect them to make a new character anymore. If they want to play the same character, even though that character died, I don't expect the party to come up with a way of bringing that character back to life. If that player says, look, I want to keep playing that character, I'll figure out a way of making it happen. I have no qualms. I don't have to be concerned about whether the character dies anymore, because now I just go and say to the player, look, I know your character died, but if you want to play the same character, you can. We'll find a way. And if you want to make a new character, you can. I don't mind. Either way is fine with me. And when a player's character dies, I'm always watching them very carefully to make sure they're not getting upset. And I'll always say, look, are you all right? I show concern and I try to make it as easy for them as possible. And that has been the easiest way for me to understand how to deal with fudging those dice. Okay, there is another one. And that's really important, I've found. And that is, I want to enjoy the surprise of what will happen when the dice tell their own story. If I'm always telling the story and the players are always telling the story, there's got to be something that surprises not just the players, but also me. and I now enjoy the fact that I don't know what's going to happen. And that is actually really important, I've discovered. And lastly, because I know a lot of people talk about when is the right time to actually fudge the dice or not fudge the dice. But I don't want to get into that because it just feels like a whole lot of work and too much to sort of take on board. So I don't want to try and find or create a universal law that explains when I should be able to fudge the dice and when I shouldn't. That is supposedly all right with regard to other people or some YouTuber, somebody on the internet, myself, my players. I don't want to even go there. So I'm not even going to worry about trying to come up with a universal law that tells me when it's all right to fudge dice. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, I'm going to make it really, really clear to people what that means. This is a rite of passage as a dungeon master, deciding whether you will fudge dice or not. And I'm not telling you you should not fudge dice. And I'm not telling you that you shouldn't fudge dice. I'm telling you that there will be a point where you will decide how you're going to manage this. And this is how I manage myself now. I'm just trying to explain how it was for me, if that makes sense. And some, I guess, in my way, it was quite hard for me to answer the question that the subscriber put down in the comments. And so when I was thinking about this particular topic, I realized that there's so much more to the game that I don't fully understand, and that being a dungeon master and being a player at the table is like a little bit of a pilgrimage. You know, it's like a journey as you grow and understand why you do things and what you enjoy about the game and how it works for you or how it doesn't work for you. So look, if you found this video helpful or informative or enlightening, or you didn't, it's alright, but if you did like it, please share and like the video. If you're not already subscribed and you like this sort of content, please subscribe, hit the bell button and be notified when I go live and when I publish a new video. If you want to support my channel, you actually, by sitting and listening to this, you supported me, and by going and watching more of my videos, you will continue to support me so I make more videos, so I know that I'm not just doing this for the sake of nothing. I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find affiliate links to Amazon and the book depository where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission. You pay exactly the same price as you normally would, and you don't have to buy the thing I have linked to. Just go through the link and it's all good. Okay, look, if you have feedback, if you want to share what it's like for you about making that decision whether you will fudge the dice rolls or not as a dungeon master, let me know down in the comments, or you can let me know in the chat box right now while I'm still live. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. And I think that is where I'm going to leave it for tonight, because the chat box is very quiet and I don't know how well this is going to be taken by people, but I realized that I needed to talk about it because it just keeps coming up. But anyway, you all have a good night, a good day, a good afternoon. Look after yourself and don't fret too much about those dice rolls. I'll see you later.